Okay, so now Carlsen brings his knight to g5, and you can see he is now attacking the bishop. And guys, this complete setup is known as Caro-Kann defense, Panov attack, modern defense. But since this bishop is attacked, but instead of defending, here Denis decides to grab this knight. And as you can see, now he's attacking the queen. And guys, from this point, this game becomes very interesting. Because in this position, Carlsen sacrifices his queen and he decides to grab this bishop on e6. And guys, after knight takes d1, now he grabs the pawn on f7, completely destroying the structure of black king. And since this king is attacked, so that's why king to d7. And now he brings his bishop to e6, giving a check. And after king to c7, now he develops his dark square bishop on f4 with a check. And guys, now you can see after this queen sacrifice how brilliantly Carlsen develops his bishop pair along with this powerful knight on g5, which are going to rip apart the black's king in the upcoming moves. Okay, so since the black king is in check, so that's why he brings his king to b6 so that he can just run through a7. But now just rook takes d1. And now guys, just take a look at the Carlsen pieces. His both bishops, this amazing knight and this central pawn on d4 along with the rook. These all are just very active. Whereas look at the black pieces. This dark square bishop is not developed yet along with the rook, and you can see this queen is also in its original place. And now Denis brings his king to a7, just defending his king. But now d5. Carlsen just advances his d pawn, attacking this knight. But queen to a5 check. So to defend this, bishop to d2, attacking the queen. But knight to b4. And you can see in the next move he is going to give a check from c2 square. So that's why to defend this, finally Carlsen decides to castle. And now comes g6, preparing for bishop to g7. And guys, after that, here Carlsen plays a3, attacking the knight, which is obviously can't be defended because of the pin. So that's why he decides to unpin his queen first. And after that, just bishop takes b4. And guys, now Denis develops his bishop to g7 so that he can eye this pawn on b2. But now just bishop takes e7, and after that rook at h goes to e8, attacking the bishop. So that's why he just slides his bishop to d6. And guys, now Denis plays h6. He attacks this active knight, but that's an inaccuracy because Carlsen now jumps his knight to f7, which, as you know, creates even more problems for black, because now this knight and the bishops are just solid, giving white complete control over the black's position. So instead of playing the move h6, so here for black it's better to play, okay, so let me go back. Here the best move for black is to consider grabbing this pawn on b2. It's like just counter attacking the white pieces. And now let's say if white brings his knight to f7 with the same idea which I mentioned earlier, but now black can play this beautiful move. And guys, this is a very difficult move, which is queen to c4. And guys, instead of queen to c4, here black can also consider queen to b3, which these both moves do the same thing. They just puts pressure on these important pieces of white, which, as you can see, this d5 pawn is very crucial for white, and it is one of the main reasons that why white is leading in the game. And let's say if white decides to play rook at f goes to e1 so that he can support his pieces, but now black can play this beautiful move, guys. And guys, the move is rook takes e6. The idea is after d takes e6, and yes, it looks like now white has a passer on e file, but guys, black can easily stop this with rook to e8. And as you can see, now there is double attack on this e6 pawn, and now you can understand the importance of the move queen to c4. Okay, so since this pawn is attacked, so let's say if white decides to defend it with knight to g5. And yes, you are right, now black can play h6, attacking the knight. And after this knight moves, just rook takes e6, and if rook takes e6, queen takes e6, and now there is no need to tell that who is winning this endgame. Okay, so in the game, after the move knight to f7, and guys, in this position here, Denis blunders with rook takes e6, which is obviously a huge blunder. Instead, he must consider the move either queen to c4 or maybe queen to b3, which I mentioned earlier, because after d takes e6, now you can see this e pawn is very close to promotion. So that's why in this position, Denis must consider the move rook to e8, but surprisingly, he doesn't even play that, and he goes for queen to f5. He attacks the pawn in the wrong way. And obviously his idea is, if let's say white pushes the pawn, then he can grab this knight. But the thing is, in this position, Carlsen plays another beautiful move which will literally blow your mind. I mean, he just plays the weakness of black pieces, and in this position he plays b4. What a move, guys. I mean, he wants to give a check from c5 square, which was previously targeted by the black queen. So that's why he pushes b4. And now some of you might be thinking of the move b6, which covers the c5 square so that white can't give a check. But Carlsen also has prepared something. I mean, he prepared the move rook to c1 so that he can give a check from c7 square. And let's say if black is not serious, or we can say black is not careful, and he decides to grab this e6 pawn, now comes rook to c7 check. The only move is king to b8. And then yes, now I think you all can see this beautiful move, which is rook at f goes to c1. And now no need to tell that what's coming next. Okay, so in the game, after the move b4, so here Denis plays rook to c8. He just covers the c file so that Magnus rook can't enter. But rook at f goes to e1. Magnus just supports his e pawn, which is now very close to promotion. So bishop to c3. He decides to attack the rook, but Carlsen now gives a check from c5 square. Rook takes c5. Why? Because after takes, so that he can grab this rook. Rook takes c1, and guys, in this position, Denis Lazavik resigned. This is because obviously now no one can stop this e pawn from promotion. I mean, let's say if black decides to grab this c5 pawn with queen takes c5, now comes e7. And now just tell me who is going to stop this e pawn from promotion? No one. What a game, guys. I mean, Carlsen just turns this position into a complete tactical nightmare. The move, which is bishop takes e6, the king chase, and especially the move b4 were simply, brilliant. That passed pawn on e6, now you can see, is just unstoppable. And obviously he can't stop this promotion. So like this video, and I will see you in the next one. This is your host Bison signing off. Bye bye.